Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulihil kareem. Amma ba'du fa'uzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Today, Khaksa, I bring a video for you in the reply for the stream which was made about a couple of days ago by Adnan Rashid with their co-host of Brother Hashim as well as with Muhammad Imtiaz from Australia. The topic for their stream was the false prophecy of the promised Messiah alayhi salatu wasalam, and the duration for that program is about 8 hours approximately. And in that program, they mentioned about a couple of the prophecies of the promised Messiah. So first we're going to see what's the criteria and why they set up this program for us, like for Ahmadi Muslim. So first we're going to hear in the voice from Adnan Rashid that why there is a need for this program, what is the nature of the program, and what they're going to do in this. By the words of Adnan Rashid Sahab.
This is a Q&A. We want to clarify that this is not a debate session.
So as you heard now, that it was a QA session. Wow. If this is the QA session, then I don't know what they call the debate. Seriously. Lanatullahi alal kasibin. But why? Why they have to do this stream? You will be surprised to hear that. Listen by Adnan Rashid Sahab.
They can test our sincerity. They can test our impartiality. They can test our credibility. They can test the authenticity of the quotes we are presenting.
Keep these words in your mind: sincerity, impartiality, credibility, and the authenticity of their quotes. Let's hear what he say next now.
He has said in his writings that if you want to judge me by my prophecies. My prophecies that I have made repeatedly will determine how truthful I am. And I'm going to read some of these quotes for you so that you can understand what we are dealing with. For example, in one of his writings, he states that but khayal logon ko, this is from Rohani Khazain, volume 5, page 288. I have the scan in front of me. And he says, बद ख्याल लोगों को वाजे हो कि हमारा सिद्क या किद जांचने के लिए हमारी पेशगोई से बढ़कर और कोई इम्तिहान नहीं हो सकता. So he's saying here that people of bad thoughts, they need to know this, that the greatest evidence of my truth or my falsehood is basically my prophecy. Okay, my prophecy is the greatest test. My prophecy will determine whether I speak the truth or I am lying. Then he goes on to say, and this one is found in Rohani Khazain, volume 17, page 461. Page 461, it is stated, फिर अगर साबित हो कि मेरी 100 पेशन गोइयों में से एक भी झूठी निकली हो तो मैं इकरार करूंगा कि मैं काजिब हूं, और अगर यूं भी खुदा से लड़ना है तो सब्र करो और अपना अंजाम देखो. So in other words, he's saying that if you want to know that if out of my 100 prophecies, even one was to be shown to be false, even if one was to be shown, one was shown to be false, then I am a liar. So he's saying, in other words, even if one was to find one false prophecy among 100 prophecies of mine, then I am a liar. So these are from his own writings. This is the standard, the criteria he himself gave us. So in light of this, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, we will proceed with this stream. I have already given you the criteria from his own writings, that he said that the greatest test of the truth of my teachings is my prophecies. If my prophecies are false, I am false. Then in another place, he said that even if one prophecy was to be shown to be false, one of my prophecies out of many hundreds, then I am a liar. This is history in the making. Please share the first prophecy of Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani.
First prophecy we want to mention is that Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, in his book Tohfa Goladwiya, and this is in the Ruhani Khazain, chapter 17, and page number is 311. He accepted and he said that मसीह मऊद दावे के बाद 40 साल जिंदा रहेगा. हदीस से सिर्फ इसी कदर मालूम होता है कि मसीह मऊद अपने दावे के बाद 40 बरस दुनिया में रहेगा. He is saying in Urdu that the promised Messiah, after making his claim of messiahship, he will remain in this world for his mission for 40 years. And then he further again confirmed this, Ruhani Khazain. This is in volume 3, page 414, and the book is Azalatu Oham. He says that इस तकरीर से मालूम हुआ कि 40 साल तक बराबर जो मुद्दत तवक्कुफ़ हज़रत मसीह की दुनिया में बाद दोबारा आने के करार दी गई है. He is saying that the staying time of the promised Messiah, after he will come again, it will be 40 years. And inshallah we have many other references on the same topic where he repeatedly has said this thing, that after promised Messiah will come and he will make his claim of messiahship, he will remain in this world for 40 years. Now, our point is that Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, according to his own writings, according to the literature of the Ahmadiyya movement, in 1892, first of all, he says that he was appointed when he was writing Burahine Ahmadiyya, and he started this writing in 1880 and 1880, 81, 82, 83 and 84. Up till 1884, he was engaged in writing the first 4 parts of Burahin Ahmadiyya. This is his first book when he started his career. So in this book, basically, after this one, he says that according to himself, Mirza himself, and according to his own movement, he was appointed in 1885. Now, this is a very key point to note. They agree that he was appointed in 1885. Then again, Mirza in his book, and this is again Ruhani Khazain, volume 4, page number 398. And this book is called Nishan Asmani, a heavenly sign. In this book, Mirza Sahib is saying that in 1892, please remember the date, in 1892, 10 complete years have passed ever since I made my claim of messiahship. So 1885 he starts, and 1892 himself says that my 10 years have completed. And then again, there's a book, and it's Ruhani Khazain, chapter 21, page number 293. It's basically the 5th part of Burahin Ahmadiyya. And this is from his last books. And this book is from 1905 till 1907. In between that, this book was produced or written by Mirza Ghulam Ahmad. In this book, he says that now 25 years of my messiahship have completed. When in 1905 or 1907, whenever he was writing these lines in the book, he said that 25 years of my messiahship have completed. Now we all know that in 1908, Mirza Sahib died. So our question is, how did he complete his 40 years of messiahship? Number one. Second question is, if he did not complete his 40 years of messiahship, is it not true then he is a false messiah according to his own standard? Adnan, over to you.
Wait a minute. Something going fishy now, isn't it? If you guys noticed. Start of the video, they says by Adnan Rashid Saab, quote unquote, this is the QA session. And the QA session for who? When the Ahmadi guys come, they can ask a question from us and we're gonna give the answer. So they're gonna judge our sincerity, credibility, impartiality, and authenticity of the quotation which they're gonna give us. But now they're going to ask the question and they're going to open the stream for everybody, especially the Ahmadis. They're going to come and join and answer their questions. So you can see their tricks, that how they're going to twist the things. Furthermore, I'm going to reply for this question now, that these two questions which the Muhammad Imtiaz Sahab asked. But the one thing I'm just going to add more in this, that first they're going to ask the question, and everybody knows the question is always small and the answer is going to be big. So the guy whoever come to answer or to reply them, they need the more time which they're going to took. So they set the time for the person who's going to answer these questions just 2 minutes, and in these 2 minutes they just keep talking by themselves and try to interrupt the other person who come to reply them, and they don't want to hear what he's saying and try to put their words in his mouth. So this is the first reference which Imtiaz Sahab giving to us, and the reference itself says that इसके हदीस से सिर्फ इस कदर मालूम होता है कि मसीह मौद अपने दावे के बाद 40 बरस दुनिया में रहेगा. The translation is as follows, that according to this hadith, it's come to know to us that promised Messiah ﷺ will live in this world for 40 years after his advent or being appointed. So my question is that why Imtiaz Sahab and Adnan Rashid Sahab and their host didn't correct that? This is not the prophecy made by promised Messiah ﷺ. This is not the prophecy by promised Messiah ﷺ, as the word it says that this is a hadith. So why they try to give this authenticity of the quotes which they're giving in not a truthful manner? The question which was been asking in their stream, that get some courage. And they says we are doing the 6-hour stream, then we have the courage. They don't have the courage at all to say the truth. They are on the footstep of the Jews. Now, same as with this reference, they says that Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani ﷺ predict that or prophesies that promised Messiah will live 40 years in this world after his advent. Whereas in this reference, Hazrat Masih Maud ﷺ discussing the point that in the hadith which is mentioned in Kanzul Amal, that the Isa ﷺ lived his life and he lived for 120 years. So in this page, Hazrat Masih Maud Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani ﷺ was discussing the belief of Hazrat Isa ﷺ that he is alive or dead. In the whole page, you can't see a single prophecy which is mentioned regarding that the promised Messiah will live for 40 years. So from where the Muhammad Imtiaz Sahab was getting this point that he prophesies, so the first two references which he given is already false, and they are telling to their audience that Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani ﷺ Nauzubillah made the false prophecies. So the first thing what they say is that Hazrat Mirza Sahab was prophesied about the 40 years, which was a hadith, So Mirza Sahib didn't prophesy that by himself. And the second reference which they give, it don't even say that Hazrat Masih Maud prophesied anything in that page. So in this reference, the third one which he present to us from the Azal-Awham, book 3 of the Ruhani Khazan, if you go through the whole page, you can't even see a one single prophecy which is made by Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salatu wassalam. I especially highlight this for you because this statement he read as a prophecy of the promised Messiah. But in this, there's no prophecy at all which is made by the Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani alayhi salatu wassalam. So why does Imtiaz Sahab lying on the live stream? So the first question, as you see on your screen, which he made, that how did he complete 40 years of his messiahship? So he don't even prophesy for it. So why are you asking from him or from us? But we're going to reply for that. Don't worry about it. But the funny thing is that about the second question. The second question is, it says, if not, then he will be the false Messiah as per his own standard. How could this be? This statement is a question. I don't understand that. So he giving his own comments and make a question of it unnecessarily or confused mind. We don't know. Look at the beard which he grown up to the Sunnah, and the attitude and the language and the behavior which they have, the footstep of the Jews. We're gonna present you the original prophecy of the Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salatu wassalam, and we will show you how Allah Ta'ala fulfilled that prophecy in the very beautiful and the right manner, which gonna be authenticate not even by the believers who believe on the promised Messiah والسلام, but as well as from the opponent, which they can't even deny for it. So let's continue with our reply. So this is the couplet from the writing of Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salatu wassalam, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani. He said that था बरस 40 का मैं इस मुसाफिर खाना में, जबकि मैंने वही रब्बानी से पाया इफ्तिखार. It means that I was the age of 40 when I got the revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As well as he said in one of his book, Hamamatul Bushra, that और मैं 40 साल का था कि इल्हाम का दरवाज़ा मुझ पर खोला गया. That I was at the age of 40 when the door of revelation was opened on me. And this reference from Ruhani Khazan book 4, page 398 of Nishan-e Asmani, and this reference is given by the Muhammad Imtiaz Sahab. And look at how dajjal he done in this reference, that he didn't quote the whole statement and he just took about 5 words from it, that 10 baras kamil guzar bhi gaye. He didn't even read the whole part of it. He just says that 10 years been passed. So because of it, the whole picture which he made is giving a totally different narrative. But if you read the whole highlighted part, you will understand what Hazrat Masih Maud ﷺ said in it. And if he read these 4 lines which I highlighted, the picture which he made can't even exist. Hazrat Masih Maud ﷺ said in this paragraph, or in these 4 lines, that just to be clear, that when I was being appointed as a Mamoor or as a prophet, my age was 40 when I got the first revelation. And also, it been Bisharat di gayi. Bisharat always using for some good thing. That Allah Ta'ala told me the good thing that I gonna be live for 80 years. Or near about of it. So if Allah Ta'ala give me the age of 80 and I'm getting the first revelation in the age of 40, it means the 40 years which is mentioning in the hadith is gonna be fulfilled. And from these 40 years, 10 years already been passed. That's what Hazrat Masih Maud ﷺ said in this particular part, which Imtiaz Sahab quote unquote in the different ways to just twist the words of the Hazrat Masih Maud ﷺ and giving his own narrative to the public, that what Wow, what Hazrat Masih Maud said, and putting the false words, and says that Jamaat-e-Ahmadiyya as a movement believe on this. Look at this. That how Dajjal they gonna do that how liar they are. The only the thing we can say to them that Lanatullahi al Kazibin. And the funny thing is that the Imtiaz Saab don't even stop to lying on just one point, and they just keep saying lying and making a full story of a web on it. So this reference also given by the Muhammad Imtiaz Saab in his stream from the Ruhani Khazain book 21 page 293 Zamima Brahine Ahmadiyya part 5 that 25 बरस गुजर चुके हैं, that 25 years been passed, that what Hazrat Masih Maud ﷺ said. But in original reference, Hazrat Masih Maud ﷺ said, 25 बरस बल्कि इससे भी ज़्यादा मुद्दत गुजर गई है. That not even 25 years, but more than that. जब मैंने दावा किया था, when I claimed to be a promised Messiah, कि मैं अल्लाह की तरफ से हूँ, that I am from Allah Ta'ala. Allah Ta'ala appointed me. It's not even 25 years, but more than that. ज़्यादा मुद्दत गुजर गई है. The thing is that they can read Urdu, they can speak English well, and they're dodging the public. And the public says Subhanallah after that. Because they're not going to open the books and read by themselves. So that's why we said to our public, read the books of the promised Messiah ﷺ, so you will understand the Dajjal which Adnan Rashid Saab and as well as Muhammad Imtiaz Saab made, and they're presenting themselves as a scholar, that they read too many literature of the Jamaat-e-Ahmadiyya, they read the books, too many books they read of the promised Messiah ﷺ, but they don't even read the one book from first page to the last page, not even one book. I will share the claim of the Imtiaz Saab in the middle of this video after that. So you will see what claim he made about the books reading of the Hazrat Masih Maud ﷺ. And they're telling the lies. They don't even scare from Allah Ta'ala. So we just pray for them that Allah Ta'ala give them the Hidayat. And the Dajjal they do, we just say Lanatullahi al Kasibin. So now I'm showing the reference on the screen is from Zamima Tofa Gorelivia. This is the same book of Hazrat Masih Maud ﷺ, from which Muhammad Imtiaz Saab took a reference and show in their stream, and it is on the 311 page number. So if somebody goes to the 311 page number, it means he read the rest 310 pages of it. And why we say that he must done that, he must read that because of this claim which he made in the stream.
And guess what? I have read Mirza's book. I don't want to make a big claim, but I can tell you sometimes 16, 17 hours a day. Okay.
This is history in the making.
So if he read the Hazrat Masih Maud ﷺ books and sometimes 16, 17 hours a day, so when he took out the reference from the page number 311 of the Tofa Gorelivia, the book which is wrote to Peer Mir Ali Shah Saab in the reply of Peer Mir Ali Shah Saab, Hazrat Masih Maud ﷺ wrote this book. So he must read this page number 62 as well and read this particular reference as well. But because they are on the Jewish shift and they are Dajjal and they do Dajjal, Kizab, so that's what their forefathers do as well, the spiritual forefathers. Their spiritual forefathers also rejected the Prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so they are on their footsteps. Sadaqa Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that these peoples are on the footstep of the Jews who are against the Prophet which was descended by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let's get back to the reference now in Ruhani Khazain, book 17, page 66, in which Hazrat Masih Maud ﷺ says that Allah Ta'ala told me that I will be the age of 80, could be 2 or 4 less or some more years, but you will get definitely to that age that you will see afar off generations. And this revelation It's been about 35 years ago, and millions of people saw that. So Hazrat Masih Maud discuss his old 35 years old revelation that he will be near to the age of 80, which means that Hazrat Allah Ta'ala gave Hazrat Masih Maud a surety that you will definitely get a long age. So don't worry about that. Whatever your opponent can do, they can't do anything. They can't harm you yourself. And after 35 years now to that revelation, Hazrat Masih Maud also witnessing that this was being published to the millions of people as well. Now let's do some bit of maths in it. This is also mentioned in the Tazkira as well. If you can see that for 1865, चूंकि खुदा ताला जानता था कि दुश्मन मेरी मौत की तमन्ना करेंगे, that Allah Ta'ala knows that my opponent will wish for that I am gonna be die as soon as possible, ताकि ये नतीजा निकाले that they come to this end that कि ये झूठा था, that I was a liar, तभी जल्द मर गया. So he died early. इसलिए पहले ही से उसने मुझे मुखातिब करके फरमाया. So that's why Allah Ta'ala told him at the age of 40, if we can guess, that यानी तेरी उम्र 80 बरस की होगी, that you will be go to the age of 80, या 2-4 कम, or could be 2-4 less, या चंद साल ज़्यादा, or could be some more, और तू इस कदर उम्र पाएगा that you will get that much of age कि एक दूर की नज़र को देख लेगा. So you can see afar of generations. And then Hazrat Masih Maud comment on it that it's been 35 years been passed for this revelation. So when he was writing in the Tofa Gorelivia, it was 35 years was been passed. So if the first revelation, as per Hazrat Masih Maud A.S, was revealed on him on when he was at age of 40, so if the first revelation we can estimate at the age of 40 and 35 years for this revelation being passed, so 40 plus 35 make 75. So the Tawfiq Gorelivia was published in 1903. Just for a rough estimation that it's been not published but compiled in 1902. So at the year of 1902, the age of Hazrat Masih Maud A.S. was 75. Because Hazrat Masih Maud A.S. mentioned that the door was open of the revelations when I was aged of 40. So we have no other option left over to count as his age was 75, because at the age of 35 years been passed on that revelation that he will going to be the age of 80 or could be less or more. So where was Muhammad Imtiaz Sahab allegation now? Because if he was at the age of 75 in year 1902, and as he said he passed away in 1908, so he was the age of 80. So Allah Ta'ala fulfilled his promise to Hazrat Mirza Sahab. So Adnan Rashid and Muhammad Imtiaz have to come to the stream and do apologize and accept that this prophecy has been fulfilled. Here is another reference from the Ruhani Khazain book 21 that somebody asked to Hazrat Masih Maud A.S. that Hazrat ki umar sharif is waqt kis qadar hai? That what's the age of the Hazur at the moment? So Hazur ne iska replied that the Hazur answer for this one that umar ka asal andaza to Khuda Ta'ala ko maloom hai, that Allah Ta'ala know the exact age of his, magar jahan tak mujhe maloom hai that as far as I know, ab is waqt tak, that till now jo sun Hijri, that which is the year of Hijri calendar, is 1323, and my age is approximately 70 years. Like he was in his 70s at the Hijri calendar of 1323. And here is the last nail of the coffin, the reference from their spiritual father, the spiritual father of Muhammad Imtiaz Sahab and Adnan Rashid Sahab, from the Al Hadith magazine from Misr by Maulana Sanaullah Amritsari. Maulana Sanaullah Amritsari Sahab states in his magazine that for the answer of a particular question, Hazrat Mirza Sahab reply in negative in his magazine Al Wasiyat, that he already said that I'm gonna be passed away at the age of 80, could be more or less. And then Maulana Sanaullah Amritsari comment on this statement that जिसके सब जीने आप गालिबन तय कर चुके हैं, that you see all the springs of the life, और जहाँ से बकौल अपने निशात के रुखसत हुआ चाहते हैं, and going to pass away from this world as per as what he said. So Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani अलैहिस्सलाम की उम्र मुबारक 80 साल के करीब होने की, that this is a verification from the spiritual father of Adnan Rashid and Muhammad Imtiaz Sahab. The spiritual father name was Maulana Sanaullah Amritsari. He confirms that Hazrat Masih Maud about to leave this world, going to pass away, and he is nearly about 80s of his age. So what else left for them when their forefathers, the spiritual forefathers, didn't come with these stupid allegations which these childs come and try to say that wow, we found something very new which their forefathers couldn't find it, and they become a very big scholar as compared to them. So stop telling us this nonsense and stop playing with this dajjal. Lanatullahi alal Kazibin. Allah is the one who will do the best judgment between us and them. So I'm gonna finish this video with the two things. One with the statement of Hazrat Masih Maud ﷺ, and another one is a request. So the statement from the writings of the Hazrat Masih Maud ﷺ, Ruhani Khazain book 17, page 461, with the same reference which is read by Adnan Rashid Sahab on the start of this on the start of their stream, that और अगर यूं भी खुदा से लड़ना है तो सब्र करो और अपना अंजाम देखो, that if you want to fight with the God, with Allah Almighty, then do it. Have patience and wait for your end. So that's what we're going to say at the end to the non-Ahmadis who are doing the stream and spreading the false allegation against Jamaat-e Ahmadiyya and Promised Messiah ﷺ. And this is my humble request to them, the brothers, that whoever go to their stream, just go on the mutual respect. Deal with them that if you want us to join their streams, give us the proper time. If they want the productive discussion, it's never gonna be happen if you talk 10 minutes and give us 2 minutes time to answer. So whenever you go on the mutual grounds. With this, I'm gonna end this video, and we'll come with the second prophecy which they discuss in their stream. Till then, wa akhiru dawana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.